What's up guys, Chandler here with Rise Magic, and today we are going to dive in and tackle one of our most requested cardistry troubleshooting moves of all time, and that is Backdrop by Kevin Ho. Almost a decade ago at this point, Kevin Ho released this move on his DVD called One Card EP, where he teaches 6 one-card flourishes. In the time since, it has become one of the most popular card flourishes of all time. You guys know that I do it all the time in my cardistry performances, like cardistry ASMR. You guys know that I'm actually so consistent with this move that seriously, if there was like one move that they were like, hey, you have to go do this in front of 1 million people and you can't mess up, it would probably be backdrop or phased, like a spring or something like that, you know? All I'm trying to say is I can do this move forward, backwards, 200 times in a row without messing up, eyes closed, 2 flips, 1 flip, 1.5 flips, I got it covered. So there are tons of free tutorials already up on YouTube. But you guys know on cardistry troubleshooting, we're not just gonna give you a tutorial, we're gonna actually go in depth. And rather than just teach the move, go over some of the problems that you guys might have when you've tried to learn it in the past via other tutorials. So we're gonna go into lots of the problems, the potholes we might dip into. We're gonna split it into multiple parts. It's gonna be a great time, so stay tuned. And Rise Playing Cards, the launch has been exceptional, amazing. I'm so happy with how many of you guys have picked up a deck. If you haven't, pre-orders will not be open for that much longer, as the deck is shipping in July. So if you do want to get your hands on a deck, these will never be reprinted again. They're a limited edition and there is not that much stock left. So go ahead over to rise-magic.com/store to cop yourself 1 Rise Playing Cards, a brick or a brick special edition with our signatures on it. Go ahead, link in description. All right, now let's troubleshoot Backdrop. I am so thrilled with how these cards turned out. So let's get into Backdrop, right? Just like that, like I said, I could do this over and over and over again forever. There are 3 main things we're gonna cover in this troubleshooting. 1, getting the card in position to be flicked, right? 2, once you have it in position, doing the flip. And then 3, we're just gonna talk about, other fun things you can do to spice it up. First thing when getting the card into position, you can take it off of the deck, like I often do, or you can just imagine that you're already holding one singular card in your hand. The same method will work for both ways. Let's just start with you're taking it out of the deck in your left hand though. Take your thumb and put it in the middle, pull that off, and then grip with your middle finger on the back side of it. So you're just holding it like that, like you're about to spin the card, right? From here, you kind of get the card like this. And what's gonna happen underneath this single card is your middle and your ring are going to curl in underneath it. So if we're showing you the underneath angle, what you want to end up with is obviously this. So how you accomplish that is by putting the pads where your nails are underneath it. So when you pull it off with your thumb and middle, I'm already folding that middle underneath with the ring underneath, and then connecting on the 2 long sides, your pointer and pinky. And they're gonna rotate like that. At the same time they rotate like that, these 2 fingers push all the way underneath straight. Now it's important that when you do this, your wrist is rotating too, so watch. Right now, my wrist is right here, and when I do this turn, my wrist flips over. So it's from here to here. Wrist goes from here to here while doing that motion. So we pull off and it goes like that. You can see the whole spin happens kind of at the beginning, right? So you start turning and then it's at the end where it gets to up top. Now obviously your goal is just kind of have the card sitting up here, because from here your thumb takes over, but we'll get to that in a second. That's how you do it if you're taking it off the deck. Like I said, if you're just holding one card, it is very simple to get into 2. It's just holding a card. Do the same thing. You're gonna reach your pinky down to this long end, pull your pointer to this long end, and that rotation is gonna happen as it goes underneath. Now you can see I'm doing it automatically. So we're gonna have to just get to part 2 right now, which is getting the card ready to launch across, okay? You can see that what I do is when this card is rotating to the top, the fulcrum points are my pointer and pinky, right? But as soon as it gets to up top here, I bring my thumb over my pointer finger. So see how my thumb's going over my pointer finger like that? When it rotates, do you see how my thumb goes over my pointer finger? And it takes over for my pointer finger. So the rotation happens. It's my pointer finger rotating here. As soon as that rotation finishes, my thumb comes across and takes control. Pointer and pinky gets up here, thumb and pinky. This is the position in which you'll be launching the card from. So you get up here, thumb takes over, your wrist is fully turned over, and this is the position you want to end up in. From underneath, it looks like this. All three fingers are underneath. Hey, that's me. Rotate up here, underneath, looks like that. Your three fingers are underneath. Your thumb is kind of bent like that, and your pointer's up there. From here, you release the card. Now, in order to release the card, there needs to be a little bit of tension in the deck, okay? There needs to be a little bit of a bow in the card to make it spring across. So it can't just be sitting up there like this, right? It's gotta be bent a little bit. So see how it's bent a little bit? That's what's gonna propel it across. Now the way you get it to go this way rather than that way or forward or backwards is your pinky finger is the one that's pulling down. Both really pull down, but it's your pinky finger that's pulling down more. The reason you do that is because your pinky finger is also the release point. So it's not like these both detach from the card at the same time. Your pinky is going to let go first. And when your pinky lets go first, the card's going to shoot this way, and you let go with your thumb a little bit, and it's going to tumble off of your thumb and turn over. So it goes off your pinky and tumbles off of your thumb. So the card's actually coming off of your thumb. It's your last point of contact. Release with the pinky, off the thumb. Now, this is the knackiest part of the flourish, right? You're not going to be able to nail this every single time when you first start off. It's going to be a little bit awkward of you getting into position. Then once you finally successfully get in position, they might not be at the perfect ideal spot for the flip to happen. What I mean by that is, let's say both of them were up here. That might be a little bit weird to do at the top of the card. What if one's at the top, one's at the bottom? It's going to like fly weird, right? You kind of want them both to be in the middle. So see the middle of the deck, pointer, thumb, in the middle. That's where the flip happens. My suggestion would be to master these two parts at the same time. So you got to master this part from whatever position, whether you're taking the card off the deck or whether you just already have a card in your right hand. It's getting this to be as smooth as possible. So once again, wrist upside down, fingers underneath, curl, rotate, take over the thumb, flip the wrist upside down. That's what you got to master. But if you're having trouble mastering that, what you can practice is just physically take the card, put it on the back of your hand, get your pinky and thumb into position, and just practice flipping it over. That one was a little awkward for me because I'm just placing it here. I'm actually not used to it. Now, obviously, I didn't mention at the beginning of this tutorial, but this move is very similar to the back palm. So if you're good at the back palm, that's a great starting point. Doesn't matter which one you learn first. If you do the back palm first, this will be a little easier. If you learn this first, the back palm will be a little easier. You guys know the back palm. I don't practice it that often at all, if I'm being honest, but it's just when you make the card disappear like that behind your hand. Now, this is troubleshooting, so let's talk about some extras. When you're flipping the card, the most natural thing it's going to do is just flipping once. One 360 turn. So back facing up, and it lands back facing up. That's going to be the most natural one to do. But as you master this, it's going to get easier to do 1.5 spins and 2. Now for 1.5, you really, all you got to do is just put a little bit more pressure on your flip. So watch, we go like this, just a little bit more pressure, and it's going to land upside down. See that? That's also something that's pretty knacky, but you just do a little bit more pressure and it'll land upside down. You might ask, why would you want to do that? Well, let's say you had the deck face up here and the card in your hand, or let's say the card on top is a spectator's card and you want to lose it in the middle, and it's an ACR routine, ambitious card routine, where they see it and you just want to do something cool and flashy. So you have the card that is visible and then you just do a little bit more pressure and it's going to land right side up and get lost. Now, if you want to do 2 full flips, which I can do, that's going to require some force in flipping. You're also going to have to use your hand to kind of really give it that extra boost, and you're going to want the card to have a higher arc. So on the single flip, it kind of just goes like there. On 1.5, it's a little bit higher of an arc. And on 2, it needs some air time to make those rotations. So if you watch me do it right here, you can see that I'm kind of boosting it with my hand, kind of giving it a flick of the wrist, and I'm putting it higher up in the arc so it has more time to turn. That one almost didn't make it. But you can see when you give it that extra time to spin, that's when you can get 2 flips. 1 flip, 1.5, and then 2. Just like that. Now, in lots of the ASMR videos you see in my performance, what I end up doing is after I do backdrop, there's this little extra flourish I do. It's not really a flourish, just an extra thing. It kind of looks like that. I like the way it rocks back and forth. All you need to do for that is, obviously, the whole time I've been teaching this, I've been doing a Charlier cut in my left hand. It's the most basic cardistry move. You should already know it. If you don't, there are way too many tutorials on YouTube on the Charlier cut, but you don't need to do it. You could just flip it on top of the deck. I think it looks cooler to put it into some sort of cut, but you can just flip it on top of the deck. Now, when I'm doing the Charlier cut while doing it, what you can do is you open your Charlier cut and you hold it with your thumb. So you hold it open, flip the card in the middle, and then what you have is this is being held. You use your ring finger and pinky as like a pouch or nest for this corner of the deck, and then you rock your hand and give that packet to your right hand to replace back on top. So full speed, it's kind of like that. The packet never leaves your left hand. This packet never leaves your left hand. It just kind of gets brought down and then back like that. I think it looks kind of cool. Lots of you guys have commented that too. So there's an extra little thing that you can add to your routine to end.
All right, guys, I hope that was in-depth enough for you. If you still have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I will get back to you. But just keep in mind with a move like this, I've probably done it. There's no way I could know how many times I've done it, but hundreds of thousands of times my fingers have done this move, and lots of times the feel that you get for how many flips it does will only come from doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Okay, so you gotta practice it. But any questions besides that, leave them in the comments below. Rise playing cards available now for a limited time, almost all gone. Be sure, if you don't wanna miss out on our first signature deck, rise-magic.com/store. You can pick up 1 deck, 2 decks, 3 decks. You get the brick. You get the brick signature edition with the Ace of Spades signed by Grant and I. You guys know the scoop. I appreciate your support. Huge thank you to everyone who has already purchased one. Love you guys so much. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.